Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today's tip is extremely valuable. This is a tip that I learned the hard way, but I'm telling you guys, this stupid little change that you can apply to almost every bait out there will help you miss less fish in that your hookup percentage will drastically increase and therefore you're going to catch more fish. So I want to share this tip with you. Before I do, I want to remind you that if you're looking to support the channel, and you need to purchase some tackle, please use my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link that I'll provide in the video description. It's a great way to support the channel. Also, don't forget we've got a members only YouTube page as well. You get additional videos on a monthly basis. We've got monthly live streams, and you can have direct access to me to ask me your questions directly. Another great way to support the channel as well. So check those out. They're in the video description if you're interested. All right, so a little background on the story. I was fishing a tournament, I'm going to say 15 years ago at this point. I was on a really good jig bite, and I had a good first day of the tournament. I was probably sitting, I don't know, in the 20s or 30s out of 150 or so boats. And the next day I went out and I had a really tough day on the water. I want to say I probably had about a dozen bites on the jig. I think I only caught 2 fish that day. The rest of them I either missed on the hook set, had for a split second on the hook set, or they pulled off as they were coming back to the boat. And I was talking to another fishing buddy of mine, an excellent fisherman who makes jigs, and I explained to him the situation. And he goes, "Matt, did you open up the hook at all?" And I said, "Open it up." He goes, "Yeah, just bend the hook out just a tad, like a couple of percent." And he goes, "That will drastically improve your hookup percentage." So I was like, You got to be kidding me." Well, ever since that day, I've opened up the hooks. And this is something that, as I've fished professionally, I have found a ton of professional anglers do. Meaning, the first thing you do when you get a new hook, if you've got a new hook in the package, you pull it out and they open it up. Meaning, most of these hooks are going to come so that they lay perfectly flat with the bait. In this case, this is an EWG. They literally flex it out a little bit just to get that point slightly up a degree or two. And what that does is it makes it that much more sticky coming out of the fish's mouth. So if your point is just a hair up as it's coming out of the roof of the fish's mouth, it's going to catch easier versus a lot of hooks which actually tend to point downward towards the shank of the hook. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous, but this is truthful, guys. This makes a huge difference. So I've got 2 jigs. I just want to point out the difference. So this is one that I pulled right out of the package. These are Dirty Jigs Luke Clawson compact pitching jigs. As you guys know, some of my favorite ones. So this is one I pulled out of the package. And then this is one that I have opened up slightly just to hopefully show you the difference. I mean, we're talking, it's almost hard to see. Let's see if I can. The green pumpkin one is opened up slightly. And the reason for that with a jig, why that's so important, especially if you've got your weed guard facing up and your point is absolutely horizontal to your hook shank, what that does is it doesn't necessarily become as sticky. But if you open that jig up, I mean, you flex it out just a tad. We're not looking to weaken the hook. If you go too far and then you got to go back in, you end up weakening it and the hook can open up a little bit. But if you flex it out just a tad, I mean, I'm talking like a degree or two, you're gonna improve your hookups. And this works with everything. If you have, like I said, your EWG style hook, they come in the package. So when you line it up with your worm, it's nice and neat. But the reality is, if you flex them out just a tad, what that's going to do is it's going to allow that to be sticky. You can still Texas rig it the way you want, make it weedless. But if your hook point is just a degree coming up, when it comes out of the fish's mouth, it's just that much more sticky versus being just flush. So you want that tiny little degree upward bend to catch on the fish's mouth. As soon as one thing catches, your pulling on the line will just drive that hook further in. If the hook point is absolutely parallel, it's not going to be as sticky, meaning it's not going to catch as easily in the fish's mouth. The other thing I want to point out with this is a lot of times when you have jigs that have been poured in a mold, a lot of times, unfortunately, the way the manufacturers pull them out of the mold is they reach in, they grab the hook, and then they bend it. Well, if the mold, if the lead doesn't fully release, a lot of times they end up actually bending in the point of the hook. Depending on how they grab it and pull it out of the mold, they could actually bend the hook point in. So you're getting them stock thinking they're perfectly ready to go, but a lot of times they're bent in. I'll challenge you guys, take a look at some of your jig heads. When you get a pack of 3 or 4, a lot of times you'll find 1 or 2 are actually the hook points bent in. You want to bend that out. Not, and again, I'm not saying bend it way out. I'm talking to the point where you've got like a 1 or 2 degree upward point to the tip. And what that's going to do is it's going to improve your hookup percentage. You're going to catch more fish because of that. And again, I want to stress, we're not looking to weaken the hook. And keep in mind, if you're using light wire hooks, you're probably using light line anyways. And from that standpoint, you shouldn't be bending the hooks out to the point. Your line probably should be breaking before your hook is opening wide open. If you're using a light wire hook and you're bending the hooks out quite a bit, you're probably overpowering the hook with the line that you're using. So you might want to drop down in lighter line to begin with in that situation. But this just goes back to everything. You can do it with crankbaits, you can do it with top waters. Take a look at your hooks, open them up just slightly. The whole goal here is to make them more sticky. The stickier they are, the more they're going to grab the fish's mouth. And the more bites or the more hookups you're going to have on the bites that you get, which leads to more fish in the boat. This is something I assure you is being done at the professional level, and it makes a big difference. A lot of times manufacturers don't want to talk about it because, well, the hooks are supposed to be perfect the way they come. But a lot of times you just need to open them up an extra degree. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to challenge you, give it a try, and I will be willing to bet you that your landing percentage is better. Hookup percentage is better, and therefore you're going to catch more fish. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you, even if you think I'm crazy. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay tuned. We'll have a new video tomorrow for you.